how much your home might be worth in today's market. And I post. That's how you post a squeeze page. Facebook, to LinkedIn, to Twitter. Same thing. It's all formatted for you. So here it is. I'm a consumer, your friend, your family, your sphere. I see it. I click on it. I get driven to your website with that number. Hopefully I take the next step. I put in my address, get estimate, and you just got an address as a lead. That makes sense? So the big news to share, just to bring it all the way back around to the beginning, was we're now using that confidence score to provide either a more accurate number or none at all, so that your folks aren't embarrassed going, that number's crazy. You think they're going to work with me? Like, I don't know my market, kind of thing. Questions on any of that? Oh, I see some questions in here. I'll address them. Thank you. Make my Marty. Can you help me check if my KVCORE site is ready? Marty, if you've got the login or you went through the steps through eXp to get your KVCORE login, there's nothing I can do necessarily. The best place to check would be with eXp support, because they're the one that processes that. Maybe the audience can help you out a bit. I think it's maybe like 3 to 5 days, depending on your MLS and what office you're a part of. But if you mean specifically your website, if you have KVCORE, your website is ready right now. I'm thinking you're probably saying the whole KVCORE thing. Does that make sense? So, I mean, if you have KVCORE, bear with me, my phone is ringing and it's driving me crazy. Okay, sorry about that. That makes sense. So if you have your login to KVCORE, as soon as you do, just navigate in the upper right, your website will be right there. And if you have any issues with that, and Marty, I'm sure you have this too, but I know it's support@exprealty.com. But Marty, if you put your email or your full name in here, I'll certainly, hey, we're here. I'll give a little kick over to support and see what's going on. If it's something on our end, I'd be happy to. Appreciate your patience with that. Got it. Give me 2 seconds to write that down, and we'll see what's going on there. Okay, I'll escalate that for you. Appreciate your patience. Cool. All right, let me get up back the list. Let me try to get this in order, and appreciate your patience again. Okay, Will, how you doing? How do you start new campaigns? I want to add Sphere, but do not want to be selling. How do you start new campaigns? I want to add Sphere, but do not want to be selling. Great question. Follow along with me now. Let's go to marketing on the left, tab marketing, and then we can go straight to smart campaigns. When your system was set up, Will, we put about 11 default campaigns into your personal library. There are over 20. The way the system's set up, bear with me when I click to one more tab. I think that it makes a lot of sense when I look at a lead, actually. It's the way I finally wrap my head around it. So what I just did is I just went to the Smart CRM on the left. I found a lead, clicked on that lead's name, and this is what a lead's record looks like, a lead detail record. If you bring your attention up here, kind of that middle, the client journey, you're going to see the various statuses, right? You see a sphere, prospect. You'll see this particular lead is a new lead, active, client, contract, and close. Those are the 7 statuses in KVCORE. There are no others. Okay? That is it. Your leads, your contacts have to fit in one of those buckets. Let's remember there's also type to think about. And I'm getting to your question. I think it's important that you understand this, and then we'll talk about the campaign, how to turn them on and that, okay? So we have campaigns for every one of these statuses right out of the box. You can clone any of these and customize them, change the messages, and make them your own, because you said you don't want to be selling. So my thought is that you probably have some custom messages, maybe a specific message. Is, we try to make the campaigns as much as we can to be a one-size-fit-all, but I'm sure all of us would agree here in the room, there is no such thing. So a one-size-fit-all campaign. Everyone's a little different. Everyone needs a little different messaging over time. So if you understand that we have campaigns for each of these statuses, then if you bring your attention over to the left, right underneath the info of email, phone number. If they did evaluation, I'd have an address. There's a buyer, there's a seller, there's a renter, there's a vendor, and there's an agent. Those are our 5 types. So a contact/lead has to be in one of those statuses and one of those types. Now, where you come in and where you control, grouping of leads, categorization of leads and contacts, and basically just calling a lead whatever you want so you can find it later, is hashtags. Hashtags are probably the single most powerful thing next to you because you're the one that makes the real difference. But in KVCORE, hashtags can be anything you want them to be. The 2 things to remember about a hashtag is you don't use a symbol, the hashtag symbol, and you don't use any spaces, and that's it. Anything else goes. So, for example, for this Zapier test, you said you're not selling. Maybe I said not selling. Of course, this isn't a sphere, but just follow along with me now. It could be any one of the statuses. So if I wanted to say, this is my sphere, and you might say, well, it's not a buyer or a seller. We got to pick one of these. I usually pick 2 for my sphere, a buyer and a seller, just because that's the way it works. And then I'll hashtag it what it actually is. You can do this throughout the platform. Hashtags have power in KVCORE. They can be triggers for many other things, automations. I could have a hashtag initiate and trigger a campaign that I built. I could have a hashtag automatically send someone property search alerts. These are things that we can do with them. But at its essence, it's really just a label system, a unique label system. So all I would do is press enter, and I just hashtag this lead not selling. You'll see it here right in the center. It did add the hashtag symbol and just says not selling. So now I can search throughout the platform on not selling. Okay, so if everyone's with me on that, we have status, we have type, and then if appropriate, not required, but recommended, hashtag everything. That would be my advice to each and every one of you. Absolutely hashtag everything when you can. It's a friend, they like zebras, single story with no front step, pool with the bar, next year, 3 to 6, just browsing. We're working, this reminded me of these past few days. One of our first questions we asked for you all in our buyer campaign, the new lead buyer campaign, says, hi, thanks for checking out my site. Are you browsing now or looking to buy? And maybe I want a campaign that's specific for that person that entered or answered just browsing, or that person that said I'm looking to buy. So we're working on ways for you to take directional like campaigns, but for now it's a little more general until we speak with them. Now the way it works, one other aspect, this particular one, new lead buyer, and I'll bring it back around, Will, to the sphere here in a sec. But when anyone signs up on your site, they're considered a new lead across the board. If I sent you here to my site and you signed up, whether you're looking at home value or you're looking just at prices of homes, whatever, you're a new lead. You're either a buyer, seller, or renter, one of those 3. We have campaigns for all of those. As long as you have them turned on, they will automatically attach. That pretty much is the only scenario where a campaign automatically attaches. Everything else you're going to manually attach, meaning I'm adding a lead. This is my sphere, Will. I put in his name, his email, and I'll walk through the steps here in a second. Then I would say, you're a sphere, and then I would attach one of our sphere campaigns if that's what you wanted to use. If you don't see a sphere campaign, that means we haven't checked it out from your library yet. We'll walk through those steps. Everybody with me so far, at least on the new lead, contact status type, and then where you come in hashtags, just so you know what, you're calling a lead what it should be, anything you want. If I send someone to my website, one of those 3 will attach as long as you have them turned on. So let's see if I have mine turned on. An easy way to do it is I can see, okay, there's my new lead buyer. I go all the way to the right. Yep, it's turned on. And then I would look for new lead seller. There it is. Is it turned on? Yep. And then same thing for renter. Okay. We can see when you first arrive at your smart campaigns, it looks like this, meaning it's going to show you your campaigns first. See how it says my campaigns? If you bring your attention a little higher, you'll see these 3 tabs. I have My Campaigns, I'm on the left, KVCORE Library, and Templates. Templates are where all the messages live, all the emails, all the texts, call reminders, task reminders, the ones that are already written for you live in there. And you can write your own. That's where they would live too. Maybe you want to build your own email and insert it into a campaign. Well, you'd go to templates first and build it. Want to create your own text, you'd go to templates first and build it. If you wanted to take one of our templates, I just clicked on templates. You'll notice here we have these categories. Email, is it a text, call, task, or webhook? They all live in here. So if I wanted to take one of these that I've seen, I'm like, yeah, I like their message, but I want to make it my own. This is how you would do it. You would come in here and clone it. Like, I think our first email I mentioned is called the, what is it called? I'm just going to type in buyer, and it's going to show me every template that we've named buyer. You'll see that there are 36 of them. Bear with me, I'll find a good example. There it is, buyer first email. I see it here. This is the one that goes out first if you use our new lead buyer campaign. If I selected clone, it's going to show you what that message is. If my computer was working correctly here, let me give it a refresh. And then I can clone it, tweak it, make it my own, rename it. I'm just doing some broad strokes here so you understand the connection. That middle tab, KVCORE, these are where everything lives that you, none of us, I bet, have all of these. I have 25. You probably have something pretty close. If I wanted to see all the Sphere campaigns, I would type in Sphere. I mean, they're there as well, but just to, kind of filter them all out, we have 2 out of the box for you, Will, a renter and a homeowner. So if you do not see these in your personal library, this is how you'd go check it out. So I say, okay, here's my renter, here's my homeowner. If you want to read it first, which I'm sure you do, just click on the campaign's name, and we're going to show you what it is. So it looks like, let's read the homeowner. So as soon as I added a lead, let's say, and there I say that they're a Sphere, let's do that actually. Upper right, quick actions. This blue button follows you everywhere you go on the platform. So I can use that no matter what screen I'm on. I can add a lead, contact, I can initiate a call, add a note about any lead, a task, go straight to my blog posts, or send an email. So if I wanted to add a contact, I put in their name, their email, their phone. I say, yes, I have permission to contact. And by the way, you have to say yes, or you won't be able to do that thing once you get them into core. And you might say, but Brett, how do I know if I haven't spoken with them? It's implied versus express, really just like agency with our clients. So sidebar, go ahead and say yes, yes, yes. So then I'm saying, well, this person's going to be a Sphere, and I would say so here in the status. I would have to pick a lead type, but you might say, well, they're not really a buyer or a seller. Just pick both and hashtag it, whatever the heck else you want. So I'm saying a Sphere, I'm saying I'm the lead owner, and then there's an option here for Smart Campaign. So when I'm adding a lead, one way I could attach a campaign is to attach it right here. So I'd click in the drop down and I'd say, well, do I have a Sphere homeowner? I do. There's my homeowner Sphere. And I don't have the renter Sphere, what it looks like. So I would have to check that one out if I wanted to make it available. And that's why it works. If you might come here and say, well, why don't I see that campaign you showed me? It means it's not in your library. And part 2 is you got to turn it on. Even if it's in your library but not turned on, it won't be available. So if I wanted to give this guy a homeowner, I would just select that homeowner over here, and I'd add contact. Okay. That way, I just attached that campaign. So that campaign I just attached, what would it say? Well, immediately, as soon as I did that, they're getting an email from you. See what it says. The name of the template's called checking in. The method is, well, what is it? Oh, it's an email. Who does it come from? You. To who? The contact. What does it say? Preview. The subject line says checking in. Excuse me. Hi, lead first name. Been showing a been showing a few homes in your area and thought of you. I have a market report that I send out monthly. It's a nice way to stay in touch with people in my network and give them a view of the real estate happening in their area. Plan to include you so you can keep on top of the market. As always, let me know if you have any questions, just want to chat. So to your point, Will, and I think this is where you're headed, and I'll check the chat here in a minute. If you're saying, well, that's not appropriate for me, like what I'm looking to do, what we would have to do, instead of you reinventing the wheel, creating your own campaign from scratch, why don't we just tweak a couple of these emails here to be what you want them to say? If I'm heading the right direction, stop me if not. So if you're like, well, I'm not really selling, that isn't what I want to keep in touch with them for. One option would be just to tweak one of our homeowner or our sphere campaigns and make it your own. Am I on the right track here? Or am I missing the boat? Well, I'm trying to answer that one first. Appreciate everyone else's patience. Okay. Everyone else with me too? We're going to follow this thread of reasoning. So I'm going to show you how to replace that. And a sidebar, agent to agent, and then we're going to go through those steps, Will. I'm going to go back to our two sphere campaigns. Remember, I went to KVCORE library, I typed in sphere, and that showed me the two available default campaigns. And there's a renter. Now, in Will's example, it sounds like he knows this individual enough that he's going to keep him in his wheelhouse, keep nurturing him, and that's the way you do it, friends. I've made the mistake of making assumptions that they'll remember me in 9 months, and it's just not the case. Got to keep them on some kind of drip, something. You might say, well, what if you don't know? Maybe you have some sphere that you haven't spoken with in a while, and you don't know if they're a renter or a homeowner. Don't let this stop you. Do something. Pick one. Even if you're not sure if they're a renter or you're not sure if they're a homeowner, I'd rather get a conversation started for you folks than none at all. So the worst case scenario, they don't respond. Second worst case scenario is I actually own a home. They're telling you, or the vice versa. It's one of those, I look at it like the ask forgiveness rather than permission kind of thing. They'll direct you. So don't let that hold you up. So let's get back on track. Same thing if I wanted to change the renter sphere. All that Will has to remember, and I'm going to go back to the homeowner sphere one for a second, is remember the name of the template. This is how we're going to find it. Okay, so if I want to change this first one checking in, wait a minute, you might say, but I don't see any edit buttons. How do I change anything? Aha, you got to clone it. If you do not see an edit button or a delete button here on the far right, that means, in essence, this campaign was checked out on your behalf by the company, so you don't own it, so to speak. So all we have to do is clone it and turn this one off. That's it. And we can then edit it and change it, rename it. So let's go ahead and do that. Upper right, I'm going to clone campaign. And I know it might look like, whoa, just hit next. We don't need to change anything at this point. We're not changing anything yet. So just say next. You can read it, but we're not changing anything. I'll just say next. Yep, next. Now you might change the default name. You know, I might say Will's revised, or I guess there's only so many characters, but you know, I could rename it. But when you clone a campaign, it'll always have the copy parentheses. So I know that I've copied it. Okay, so I'm going to put in Will, and I'm going to go ahead and say next. And I'm going to say it too, because I get it. Don't worry about this always run. When in doubt, don't. I've found. If it's already set to no, there's a reason for that. This is just a little more advanced way of logic that we use when we can kind of get really deep into when a campaign attaches. For now, please just leave it to no. It will run when you turn it on, trust me. Let's select next, review, finish. There it is. Notice at the top now it says Will's default homeowner sphere copy. Now, I don't want to lead you in the wrong way. It's very essential everyone listens to this. We cannot have two of the same campaigns turned on, or people are going to unsubscribe so fast to make your head spin, right? We're sending them two of everything. Remember, if you already had this campaign in my library, the original one, and I turned it on, and now I just cloned it, you now, in essence, have two. I haven't done anything different. So just make sure when we do this that you're only leaving one turned on when all is said and done. Everybody with me? Bring your attention to this right-hand side. Notice that this edit button and a little delete button magically appeared next to everything. Sweet. Thanks, Will. Appreciate your patience. So for example, if I just didn't want to have a task or a text at all, I could delete it from it right here and trim it up, which I've done before. I mean, I created a Sphere campaign by cloning one of our active campaigns, which just has task reminders. I just wanted to see kind of their name every week. I'm not doing anything with them, but it's just reminding me, hey, checking on them. But I thought that a week was too much, so I deleted and just made it once a month. And just hit go. And now they keep coming up once a month that I don't forget about them. But I think this is even better. We're giving them actual communication. That's how we start conversations. And the more we're speaking to them and not like the general public, the better your responses are going to be. This is absolutely critical. If I am a homeowner and you're talking to me about homeowner, your responses are going to be much better than if you weren't. It's like this guy or this gal, they don't even know who I am. This must be a spam or whatever. Okay. So how do I change this checking in the very first one? Okay. You can go to edit on the far right next to preview, and it's telling you what that template name is. Don't look at the name of the action. The name is just said, hey, this is our checking in action. But the actual name of the template is called whatever that says there, Sphere check-in email 1. Let's view the template, make sure that's the one we were just looking at. Yep, hey, first name and showing a few homes in your area, thought of you. So, okay, got it. So 2 ways we could do this, Will. One would be I could just get rid of this completely, delete it, and go write my own and put it in here. We're going to do that option 2. Option 1 is just tweak this one and clone it, basically, and just change a few things. Maybe because if you're not sure exactly what you want to say, but so let's do the first one. If I just want to clone it, not reinvent the wheel, then all I got to do is go find this template and make it my own. So let's go do that first, and then I'll show you how to just write your own and put it in there. And then you can repeat that for anything. If you're writing a text, maybe you want to be reminded in 3 weeks to do something with your Sphere, write that task reminder on week 3. Maybe you want to remind yourself to call them in 45 days. So throw in the call in 45 days. So it's real easy like that. Now remember, as we're going through and looking at all of the campaign, if you look in method column, this says email, this says text, this says call. When there's a call and a task, those are for you. That is nothing that goes out to the lead. So I'll see this call says from the system to you, the agent. It's just saying give them a call. You make the call on that. So everyone's with me. Let's go find that. What was it called again? Sphere check-in email 1. Okay, so I'm just I could bounce back, if you will. Let's just go to my marketing. Whoops, I'm too far. Main Smart Campaign dashboard, templates. Now that was an email. Don't make the mistake I did. I was looking for a text, but I was looking under the email tab, and I wondered why I couldn't find it because it wasn't in there. It was in the text tab, but that was an email. So I should be able to just type Sphere and hit enter. It's going to be a Sphere one, right? Okay, there it is. First one on the second one. Sphere email 1. That's the one that is the first one in that campaign. So if I want to clone it, just hit clone. There it is. Don't be distracted by the template scope. It should default to you. The scope means this is for Will, this is for Brett, this is for you. There's the name, the Sphere check-in email 1 copy. So just make it simple. I'm going to put Will, Sphere check-in email 1. You can get rid of the copy if you don't want. I'm going to leave it there just as we're learning. If you wanted to change your subject, this is where you'd change it. I am not selling. I'm just going to say that kind of, So there's my subject line, and then I would come down to the body and you'd tweak it however you want, So if I wanted to put in my own messages here, little tip, when you're formatting this, makes it real easy for you. If I want to use this and it always pull my lead or contact's first name, and I just can reuse it, just go ahead and click on that little starburst, and it's called merge tags, and just pick lead and then put in first name. That's how I could go hello first name. Right? And you have other options as you, the agent. Maybe I want to drop my own website, just gives quick little links. Okay, so just make sure you use lead first name. So there it is, right? You change it to how you want. Notice, and this is something I told development, see how I just scrolled that down a little bit? The include signature option is kind of hidden. When you first set up your signature in your profile, that's the one it's talking about. So if you want to include that, just toggle that over. Now, the way that this email is set up, we added those merge tags for you, the agent. So it's saying your first name, your last name, your cell phone, and your email. It's just pulling those from your profile, not your original signature. There's a reason for that. So before you go toggle on the signature for everything, the idea is you sent this. You sat down and wrote this email yourself. It wasn't, it's not intended to look like any kind of, spam boilerplate type email. That's examples of how that is. It doesn't look like just a basic template that everyone uses. So there's a reason why we don't do that, and we're not consistent on every single email you send. You make your best call. So now that I'm done with cloning it, well, all I have to remember is Will's Sphere check-in email, because that's how I'm going to find it. So just make sure whatever you name it, not the subject line, but whatever you name the template, just remember what it is. Now, I used to advise to put your name in, because as soon as I would type my name, I'd get every template I ever wrote. Well, that was fine for the first year, but now in year 3 of doing this, I got a pretty long list. So I would also, that's not the best call for me anymore, because I gotta scroll. Which one was it? I don't know. There it is. You could use asterisks. You could use numbers. You could use buyer and seller or sphere, but over time, those are going to start to stack on you too. So just think about something that might make sense that you remember. Everyone's with me. I'm going to clone the template. Boom. There it is. I see it right there. There's Will's new template. What about from scratch? Since we're already here, let's create one from scratch. Same thing. I would just go now up to the upper right. I'd click on that green add template button and pick the one you want to build. I've had folks, for example, use the task template in our contract campaign. Similar, how we have the time deadlines when we have someone in contract, the 17-day window, disclosures, maybe there's something you want to remind yourself to do. You can always do something like that. Just remember, if you don't see the edit button with your campaign, that means you need to clone it. That's all. And just don't leave 2 of the same on. So let's create a email template from scratch. Same thing. I would say Will's scratch, or we'll say custom email. So we can find it. Oops. There we go. Be consistent. Subject line. This is my most awesome subject line. Hello. I like the template or the merge tags. I'm going to go lead. Whoops. First name, comma, my content. If you're using a link, because this is a question I get too, can I include attachments? No. However, you could create a link to go wherever you want. There's a reason for that. We want to end up in their inbox, not in their spam and junk folder. You put, if I had a video or some kind of content in here, or a PDF or something like that, you're going straight to spam generally, unless you already know them. Use our link button. Excuse me. Best practice here, here's my website. I don't know, let me just use this one. Bear with me here. And here's the text to display. Click here. You might not have ever thought of that, but you have this option here that says open link in current window. If you click the drop down, you'll find an option for new window. I recommend use new window. Want to know why? Because wherever they are, they're going to stay where they are, and it's going to open up a new window. And this is especially key if you're on your website already, right? I don't want them to leave my website. Leave that there. So I recommend open a new window. When they click on that link, put in your link. Thank you, Brett. Right. So at this point, once again, I could include my whole signature, or maybe I just want to make it look a little more personal, less formal. I add a merge tag. I go agent. How about I give my cell phone, and I'm going to do my website, agent site URL. By the way, another sidebar. There are not unsubscribe links on our Smart Campaign emails. Why? Because you wrote them. How many times do you put an unsubscribe link when you send a personal email to somebody? Yes, they're on your search alerts. Yes, they're on your market reports. All that stuff, always unsubscribe links. But it's here if you wanted to do it. We don't recommend it, but if I wanted to, I could go, agent, is it right? Where is that unsubscribe one? I won't bore you with this. It's in here somewhere. There is an unsubscribe link. But I recommend, you wouldn't do that if I was sending a personal email. So that's it. That's how I'm going to advise here. Add template. Just remember the name of it so you don't lose it. Now what did I do? I just cloned an existing message, the one that was already there, made it my own. And now I just created one from scratch. Now the cool thing about when you do this, you can use it across the platform. It's not just Smart Campaigns. I mean, if I went to go quick actions, send an email, template, just type in Will here. Oops. If you don't see it right away, here's another pro tip. Just hit refresh. Because if we just did something new, just make sure that everything's, caught up, so to speak, with any software, really. And there they are. Will's Sphere check-in email one. There's the one that we created or cloned. And then the other one, type Will again, there's the from scratch email. I could send that individually. I could send that using the mass email tool, or what we're going to do now, insert it into a Smart Campaign. So now that I'm done with that and I've created them, let's go back to my campaigns, upper left. And now we see Will's default homeowner sphere that we're working on here. Now here's the best practice. Don't want to get you all in trouble here, and that is, where's the other one, right? I don't want two of the same. So I'm going to go ahead, make it easy, and just filter for all my sphere. And there it is. There's the homeowner sphere turned on. I'm turning that one off, and I'm turning my new one on. Now are you sure, by the way, just so you all know, when you turn one of these on for the first time, it does not go retroactively back to your leads and go find them and attach them. Nope. Only from this moment forward is it now available. You'll have to go manually attach those, okay? So I think we're good. I don't have two of the same ones turned on. Let's go throw in those emails. And apologies, friends. And I'm going to actually, before I'm going to copy the transcript of all your questions, because obviously I'm not going to get to them all. I thought this one would be good to kind of walk through for all of us. I think this is a good tool no matter what you do. So apologies for not getting your questions. I'll do my best to reach out after, okay? And is there a transcript for the campaigns? No, there's not, Andrea, but you can read through them, and that is a request we've heard. I hope development listens and lets us just see them all laid out. I mean, because technically I could go through and preview each one, and that is kind of the transcript, but that's tedious at best. Okay, so let's replace it. So now I'm here on Will's default homeowner sphere, and I want to replace it. I go to edit. I just click out that one that's there, and now I type Will's. And there it is, Will's sphere check-in email. I'm going to view it, make sure that's the one I want. Yep, put in my own message here, blah, blah, blah. Now you could also have the option at the bottom of when you want it to run. Since the one I cloned was meant to run immediately, meaning right now, the minute that I assign this campaign, that's firing out, maybe you want it to hang back a bit. If you do, just toggle over, off, run immediately, and then you can choose minutes, days, hours of when you want that to happen. Okay, so if I went ahead and did that, I'll say I'm going to leave it run immediately. I update. But I just made a mistake. Well, not a mistake really, but notice how the name didn't change. We should probably change that, so going out that you changed our original one. You go back to edit and just say revised or something, right? Update. Boom, there it is, revised checking in. So what about if I want to add that one we just built from scratch? No problemo. Add action, upper left, add action. Since we're adding that email, I'm going to select the email option, but look at these other stuff you can do. You can even add hashtags throughout the campaign that could kick off something else when we get a little more advanced. But I'm just going to go for email. And which one am I looking for? The custom one, right? So I just type Will. There it is, Will's custom email. I'm going to name it Will's custom email, number 1. I'm going to view it, make sure that was it. Hello, first name, my content. There's my link. Yep. When do I want it to run? Let's see, I got a day. That's immediately day 0. How about I do this at day 21? All right, so if I wanted to say, okay, let's do day 21, done, add. There it is, day 21. I just added Will's custom email number 1. So we just hit the top of the hour, a little late. Sorry about that, everyone. I hope that was at a good pace, that we all followed along. This is key, and you know what? I think it's important all of us really customize our messages, because not everyone is the same. And, you know, these are a great starting point, our default, you know, as you're learning it. But if you think about it too, if everyone in this room or in all of eXp has this campaign, and they also have the new lead buyer, then all of us are sending out the same first email. I recommend every single one of us change it at some point and make it your own. Something to think about, but that's how you do it, everyone. And one other thing I'll add here. Let's say you look at okay, we're asking for a referral on 65. Well, that's a good text, day 120. Okay, let's say I want to get out of day 180. I don't want this call. I just don't want it. Just hit delete and it's gone. So that's how easy it is to kind of tailor them down. You say, I don't need it to run this long. This one runs for what, 990 days, this particular one. So I could, throughout this, put in my own stuff, as you just saw. Just create a task, drop it in there. That's all I have for you today, friends. I really appreciate your patience with me. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. As I mentioned, I did copy it. Just paste it in here. So I have everyone's question. I'm seeing just as a quick glance that if your website doesn't have a name on it, absolutely, Linda, that isn't something I could help with. Go for the live chat down in that bottom right there. Sometimes it happens. So if your name's not on it, you know, something is up with that. That's a quick turnaround too. We should get that fixed for you within a couple hours, for sure. Core voicemail, core video. Andrea, I'll give it a shot. For those of you who need to go. I am still recording. Sure, I'd be answering that, Andrea. And sorry if I'm going out of order. I just got another appointment coming up here in a few moments, but do want to help. Core video, core voicemail, and core video. Good questions. Core voicemail is an add-on. It is an additional cost. If any of you are familiar with Slide Dial, forgive me while I click around here a little bit. I'm going to go to the CRM. You could add on voicemail where I could record one voicemail, just like Slide Dial, go to more actions, and send voicemails. But it is an add-on, so you buy in blocks of how many people you want to send a voicemail to per month. To go there, if you're like, because I know we see it in here, it's kind of, you know, and I gave them my feedback, but bait and switch, like, it doesn't work. Why don't I have it? Well, we want you to buy it. And it is a cool tool, and it is pretty cheap, but that's what the voicemail one is. So if you're interested in that, you would go to your marketplace on the left, and everything we offer is right here. Forgive me while I scroll. Yeah, there it is, core voicemail drop. So you would say learn more, and there it is. So 150 voicemails a month, 20 bucks. 250 voicemail, 30, and on and on. Okay, so that's your voicemail. Now I'm happy to tell you that for the core video, however, every single one of you gets 10 free per month at no cost. It is powered by BombBomb. Now the downside of this, because you see that the video message up here at the top that you see, with our included free 10 per month that you have, you can't do it in mass. You can only send them individually, one at a time. And I can't save them to reuse later. But you still get 10 free per month. So how do you use it? So I would go to my lead over here, Zapier test. I would go over to the upper right, and there's core video. And you might, if you're out there in the audience and you own BombBomb, you can integrate that with KVCORE at no extra cost. The only thing you have to have is same email and same login info, basically, and then it just seamlessly will go over. But yeah, I think it's 30 bucks if you want the premium, where you can record, save it, send it 200 at a time. And you know what else? You can put those videos into smart campaigns. Think about that. So maybe you signed up on my website and I want day 3 to be a quick little video that I say, hey, you know, my name is Brett and I'm happy to work with you. Let me know when I can help. when you do the pro one, you can include those in campaigns. So that's pretty sweet. So here I am at the lead. I hit core video. I don't have a webcam on this computer, but it would literally be looking at me right now. That's how quick it comes up, and I can record my video and send it just like that. You get 10 free per month. Beginning of the month starts. Might as well use them. Maybe challenge yourself. I hereby challenge all of you to use them. You got 10 free, and we got a little time in the month left. Why not give it a shot? Let's get some conversations started. People like to work with people. As I mentioned before, I truly believe that. So there it is, core video. It looks like it is $30 a month if you want to get the full pro version that is powered by BombBomb. So it's, you know, it's the same thing pretty much. Cool. All right, everyone. I will post this about an hour once I process the video. If I can help, reach out to me through Workplace. And you know, if you have something really pressing, unfortunately, I don't have all the resources support does. They're generally your best bet. But if you're dying out there, let me know, like Zhu over here, and I'm going to find out what's going on with you if I can. And chat's the best bet. Thank you, everyone. And if you have one more second, if you're so inclined, thanks, Pat. Always a pleasure. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know how I can be better. And I hope you all have a great, safe weekend. I will be back next Thursday doing an advanced class. Hey, if you want to see something, let me know. Hit me up in the Workplace. Okay? And I'd be happy to help. Take care of yourselves, everybody. I hope that new listing is right around the corner. And if you're in contract or about to submit an offer, I hope it sure gets, they take it. Be safe. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much.